Yeah, Thadius will go over and start gathering up his darts and stuff, and he'll be like, oh, that's unfortunate. You can pull his short sword out of the barely bleeding guy now.
And as this individual is still kind of trying to shake off the cobwebs, you can see this big, huge goose egg, kind of blistering on the top of his head. Just behind one of his curled horns, you can see like the blood, coming out of his ear, from the impact against this pipe, and like a short sword that you had launched through his thigh, cutting a major artery as he's slowly bleeding out. You can see him trying to mumble something, but just the loss of blood has made his sight, his speech, his movement slurred.
This is the one that I knocked unconscious. One's dead.
Yeah.
That's the one that you hamstrung.
Yes, so there's one remaining.
I mean, I was trying to make sure he wasn't going to kill him, but as soon as I go over to look at the short sword, I realize there's like a 6-foot pool of blood because he's been leaking through on the other side of his thigh.
Yeah, absolutely. You collect your weapon as you look over to Alindawn and you see him, binding this individual's hands. But yeah, without a doubt, there's more than enough. Like you kind of look for something, and you see like an old garment. As you kind of pull it free from being locked into this resin. You pull it, and you can hear like you kind of rip it out, and you bind this individual's hands behind their back. And kind of plop on against the side of the wall as they're still unconscious.
Yeah. I don't know what you want to ask him. It's there, I guess. He's a fanatic. I don't know what you'll actually get out of him. They tend to be a little idle brain, but maybe if he sits down here long enough, he'll figure it out.
The one that wants to have them continue their existence, so I figured you would be down for this level of conversation. Unfortunately, the other two are not so talkative.
No. Guess it was their time.
We'll go over here, cap this guy on the forehead with his short sword. Tick, 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 tick.
He's out. He's out like a light.
You doing all right?
She's probably just a little bit off in the back, just like wincing a little bit to herself as she just she has like a rag on her. She took off of one of them and is just like uncomfortably just trying to clean the blade off.
And you can see as Zeema, not used to having that kind of blood on a weapon, and rather than cleaning the blade, you're just kind of smudging that redness throughout the steel, and you can see her hand slowly tremble as she's just not sure how to work the blade to get the stain off of the metal or off her hands.
Sometimes it's the issues that you take when you have to raise a weapon, but in some of the cases it is you or them. Life is precious, yes, but you have to defend yourself as well.
Just remember, they would have killed you just the same. He'll grab a ripped piece of cloth off of this guy. He goes back over to this guy and just basically
shoves it into his mouth?
Shoves it over his mouth and nose. Like he's gonna wake up eventually.
So you're trying to force him to wake up?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, jeez. How did the two of you react as you saw Thadius? Somebody who you felt within the arts of torture.
It's like you see this innocent young man, but in his eyes you see purpose.
Yeah. She doesn't drop the sword, but definitely with the other hand drops the cloth and just walks over and just gives him a look of, are you kidding me?
And you can see this tiefling, kind of choking and gagging, I'm rolling con to see if he can come out of it, and he's not. And you can see him literally
I'll let him gasp for air.
Yeah, so you're pretty much waterboarding him. Kind of, yeah.
I need him to wake up.
Yeah, and I've rolled twice, and both times he's failed. He's not.
Sometimes you can't beat a classic. Just nurple him.
That, ironically enough, that happens to wake him up.
and he's a little out of breath. But
I was gonna give you 3 attempts to try to bring him out of his slumber, and the first times where there's no way, like I rolled super, super high, and this last time I rolled in that 1. So yeah, literally, you reach in, under his armament, and you grab flesh, and you give it a really good twist, and it's just a combination of gagging, gasping for air, this sharp twist of pain, and you see his eyes roll back, kind of coming into focus, and his hands bound, behind his back. He kind of slumps further down, kind of coming parallel with the ground, as kind of works his way back up, and you can just see like this look of infernal rage, this look of death, in his eyes, as he glares at the 3 of you, just teeth snarled, cussing in his infernal tongue.
Oh, be quiet, I say in Infernal. You have an option here to stay alive and serve your masters once more. But you have to give me some information. This is a trade. Information for your life.
Give me intimidation or persuasion? What are you trying to do?
I am trying to get him to tell me where the people that were cut out have gone.
So, but are you trying to persuade him or are you trying to intimidate him?
I'm not really super good at either of those things. I could deceive him to make him think that I'm more threatening than I actually am.
If he wants, I can be the one to say that instead.
No, I'll still roll. I'll roll...
Perception or, sorry, what is it? Persuasion or intimidation?
I'm not really trying to intimidate him. I'm trying to reason with him.
Okay, persuasion.
Nope, that is a 1. I slap him across the face.
Yeah, and
breaking my rapport with him.
Absolutely, yeah, and he just cusses, and you can just hear him babbling about the diviner. How about his life is insignificant to the greater purpose.
You're right.
And just like literally just stumbling over his words, still half in and out of consciousness. Like you can see, like for 1 second, he's making sense, and the next, he's talking about something totally irrelevant. Like he's even slipping in and out of different tongues. A lot of the times what he's babbling about is just incoherent.
Yeah, probably with her free hand, Zeema probably reaches out and grabs your wrist, like the one that you used to slap him with, and says, "Where is this coming from?"
He'll reach into his bag and pull out the red cloak. This is my friend's cloak. He's been missing for 10 days. He was down here. If they've freed him, I want him back.
It'd be good to know what they're doing. I just don't understand a word coming out of his mouth, so...
Likewise.
I basically take the balled up cloak in my hand, jam it in his face. Where are the people?
And give me, once again, intimidation or persuasion?
No orange dice this time. 17.
17? What was that? And this glare. What's a 15? You see his eyes dart down this way. You see, where are the people? You see his eyes, without, once again, he's babbling.
Yeah.
Literally, and it's almost as if, his eyes have deceived him as he kind of looks further down this hallway.
Now, how do I feel about this? I wanted him to give me information, but he didn't give me information. I caught his micro expression, basically. You know what? It'll screw with him if I just say it. Thank you. And then I'd start walking. It's like, if you want him to live, that's your business, but I have someone to look for. And I'll start shoving that cloak back into his bag.
And yeah, once again, he's half in, half out. His arms bound behind his back. You see him slumped over. His head, awkwardly placed on his chest. The blood, kind of, pooling around him slowly. But he looks worse for wear. Knowing that if you leave him here to his own, means, tied up like this, he will pass.
I guess I'd start moving too, and would look back and then, just telling you, I have a promise, and I have someone that I care for to look for as well, and would just start moving on as well.
I'll let nature take its course.
That's fair.
He's alive.
Yeah.
What he does with it is his choice.
So as the three of you walk down this corridor, you can hear like him, rambling, quietly under his breath. And yourself there, Thadius, you would hear him constantly just talking about the diviner, the greater purpose, and how, pretty much how the three of you, will be dead. That the diviner will find you. She's, searching, and her prey always gets caught.
I don't understand you. I don't understand why you have such an issue with this. These people will kill indiscriminately. They will kill innocents. They will kill threats, whatever. They kill. They're killers.
I understand the nature of man, but it's also in the nature of men change.
Not all men.
You can't change those who can't listen, unfortunately.
These are mostly followers. If they had their own free will to believe in whatever they believed, that's fine, but they're fanatics. They don't kill for themselves.
How do you reach someone like that?
There's no morality in them. They just
Your
kill because
actions
they're
are
told
about
to.
the only thing that is going to reach someone like that.
Well, if you can't change their mind, then they'll never change the subject. What's the point?
There's always hope.
As the three of you debate about, what is and what isn't the appropriate choices for one's life, the three of you are walking down this corridor, I'm assuming?
Yes.
And as once there's light, working its way in through these grates, these manholes above every, 20 feet. You can hear somebody calling, further down this passage. And yourself there, Thadius, everybody give me a perception. Except for yourself there, Thadius, at advantage.
Oh, okay. Oh, natural 20.
Nice.
And then he had only orange dice too. That doesn't usually happen.
Well, it's time for new dice.
Well, it's got a 20 now.
That's an 8 to 20.
Okay,
Not
23.
Yeah, roll 50 cents.
Nice.
So yourself there, Zeema, you just hear like this muffling, sound, coming further down. And once again, maybe it's just that internal conflict within yourself, that dialogue within, that's kind of blocking the outside world. And yourself there, Alindawn, you definitely hear a voice, a younger voice, something like almost like a singer's voice, perhaps. Calling for help. And then yourself there, Thadius, you rolled in that 20. Yeah. You know exactly who this voice is. You almost, there's a pep in your step as where you kind of start darting forward. Not even, conscious of the potential danger. His voice is who you've been looking for. And as you kind of, round this corner, quite sitting there, but, getting up. And you see he's covered with this organic, kind of material. And he's kind of, he's kind of breaking out or kind of, working his way out of this encasing. And he's got his back turned and he's calling, weak and feeble. Not necessarily calling out to you, but just calling out for anything. And then as you turn, you see him, and like he literally just he uses this shock in his eyes, like this disbelief, of his fortunes, and he literally breaks down, collapsing to his knees, covered in this material, and literally just sobbing as you come around the corner.
I'll go over and hug him. I'll grab the cloak out of the back and be like, you should really keep your clothes on if you're going to be crawling around the sewer systems.
And you can see like he's trying to laugh, he's trying to make light of the situation, but you can see that there's he's changed. Like this experience of being down here, being with these individuals, being in the grasp of the diviner. Has changed him. He's not, he doesn't have that sharpness in his eye. He doesn't have like that, that cool kind of, demeanor about him. Like you can see something through the last.
I see something familiar. I see that glare of trauma where the light is kind of like dimmed.
Absolutely, yeah. And like being down here for who knows how long. Like it's been 10 plus days since you've last seen him. He's he literally, this experience has changed him as an individual.
Is there anybody else down here?
And he once again he's sobbing within your arms as the two of you, I imagine, would round the corner.
Yeah.
And you see these two really young men, embrace each other. And you can see him with his hand shaking. Like he's got his robe, clenched in one hand, kind of formed around your back in a hug. With his other hand, you can see him pointing down like the hallway that's not opposite of how you just entranced. And he says, they've been taking people. For what purpose? I truly do not know.
Can you describe your sibling to my friend?
Give me a description there, Rhys, of your brother, Bealo.
Yeah. Okay. So I'd say like relatively short but very well kept hair. Maybe like very very thin facial hair. He keeps well attained as well. Probably a little bit more on like the softer side. He probably tends to stay closer to home more often.
Mm-hmm.
Probably blue eyes,
yeah.
and I'd say he is a very empathic, gentle type of soul, and just generally is just probably just a good listener and almost too kind for his own good.
And this is your younger brother, right?
Yeah.
So as you yourself, Zeema and Alindawn, kind of work your way closer into the light, that's just, kind of just on the outskirts of where Thadius and Mateo have kind of, embraced. His head still kind of, lodged in Thaddeus's, stomach, from this embrace. And he kind of, turns to hear you talking to him. And he turns to you with like these shallow eyes, like these, like this gaunt look. He probably hasn't ate in the last couple of days, something like that. And you see this webbing all over him. And he looks into your face. And then he goes, I've seen you before, but not. Like once again, still kind of trying to shake the cobwebs. You see your brother's missing? They have him.
They, here or taken away.
And he points down to the hallway once again.
And just probably looks a little further, probably to see something, and probably slowly and uncomfortably turns back and saying, what would they want him for?
And once again, he doesn't know. He kind of falls, from your embrace, and embraces. So he's on his butt, and he kind of, shuffles back against the wall and trying to use the wall to, support himself as he gets to his feet. His robe still in his hand, and as he shakes off the last webbings, this is organic material, and you can see like he's, like I said, he's changed. He looks weaker. For this experience. He points and he goes, I do not truly know. What I do know is that death lies down that hallway.
Goodness. Upon hearing that, she just would go wide-eyed and would, unless somebody stops her, she would start to go down that hallway. Probably not quickly, but she definitely would start moving.
Yeah.
We will come with you. But let's not run wildly into Death's arms. Let's make sure that we're prepared.
Thaddeus?
So, we're in like the sewer system part of the city now.
You would have a pretty good idea as to the area, where you're at. Like we've already said that, kind of working your way through, you can smell the bakery, you can hear the sounds from above. Like, this is your stomping grounds, right? Even more so you than Zeema, because you're a street rat.
Yeah.
And so like you would literally know the streets above and below.
Is there an access point that I could get him up?
Absolutely, yeah. And so as the four of you work your way down this corridor, there's an outcropping, an alcove, and so you kind of quickly take him down there, and there's a flight of stairs, kind of leading, and of course it's all locked, right? Because they don't need people down here. But I guess we could, give me a sleight of hand to see if you can pick this lock.
My thieves' tools would be an 18.
Yeah, easily. Give it some flavor. Once again, city locks can be complex, but not for somebody of your skill set.
Well, it just so happens that we're fortunate that this one's more like just a basic, standard large lock. So I pick it, I start to drag through the chain as I'm talking, and I'm like, here, take these. And I'll hand him a couple of the bags of shells that we found along the way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, go get yourself something to eat. Go to one of the shelters, and I will meet you there. say the one by the bakery.
Okay, absolutely. And once again, so he takes his bag in his hand, and you can see like the look in his eye. He's not all there, like literally, you know. And as you kind of open up this,
I'll grab him by the neck. I'm like, get yourself some sleep, and I'll see you when I get back.
Okay, and then as you know, he gives you a nod as the light, you know, kind of comes in as you open up this porthole, and you know, it's really blinding as the two of you kind of, you know, exit darkness and enter the light, and you know, he's squinting, and you can see like just how, you know, gaunt, you know, he is, and you know, his like his robe, he's still holding onto it, clinging, you know, almost like clinging to the past, kind of like that. So in one hand he's got his robe, you know, the other hand he's got this bag of shells, and he looks to you, and he goes, not even he looks to you, he embraces you one more time, and he whispers in your ear, get rid of the cleric, they're after him.
Go rest.
And with that, you know, he stumbles, you know, out, and you know, you close the gate behind him, or the door behind him, as he kind of works his way into the street proper. You know, you can see he's definitely confused, you know, as he's kind of trying to find his bearings. And you see him working down that side street, you know, towards the bakery, you know, to something a little more familiar, you know, where the two of you, you know, once performed.
Yeah. I'll reattach the lock, and then I'll meet up with you guys. Mateo will go and set up one of my spots in case we have to backtrack. But
I hope he's okay.
we made you a bargain, so let's go get your brother.
Most appreciated.
Well, the least I can do after you saved my life. Life for life seems fair price.
You still promised lunch.
That you did. That you did.